How's it going, everybody? My name is Fernando, the Lone Star Halo. That's Vince. We are here to talk about the Freeway Series and why we clap some Dodger ass. All that and more after this.
From Anaheim down to the Texas plains, hot takes flying riding off the reins. Lone Star Halo Cowboy Vince, calling it bold, never on the fence. Hold down time, turn it up loud, hot takes are ringing, drawing a crowd. No matter how wild, no matter how strange, ain't no limit on the takes we say.
Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome to this week's episode of the Halo Hot Take Hoedown. As I said, my name is Fernando, the Lone Star Halo. That's Vince, the Angels Cowboy. Make sure you give us all a follow at Halos in the Infield. Vince at Vince Angels_Cowboy. And yeah, so we posted that this week's hot take was going to be about the Angels center fielder debate and who's the best center fielder in franchise history. Is it Trout? Is it Earthside? Is it etc.? But you know what? We're going to dust that to the side just for this week. We're going to table that. Why? Because we just got done with the Freeway Series, and I think we're going to have our hands full as it is. So you know what? We have a new hot take. I'm going to say what it is off the top. Normally we chat, and then we say the hot take, and then we're going to dissect it. So Vince, let me hit you with the hot take, and then you can hit me with your rebuttal, okay? So this week's Angels hot take, because the Dodger fans love to say, anytime they lose, this isn't a rivalry, guys. You're not our rivals. You know what? This week's Halo hot take, this indeed is a rivalry. And to all the Dodger fans out there saying it's not, it is. Maybe we're not your biggest rival, but we're definitely in their heads. And if you don't believe me, look at all the content, man. All these Dodger fans are talking a bunch of crap. Vince, how do you feel? Is this a rivalry?
100%, because what I've noticed is, what is the true definition of rivalry? Competitiveness is part of it. Now, the argument of why this isn't a rivalry, because Dodger fans are used to the Giants. That's a rivalry in itself because they've been competing for the same thing every single year since their existence back when they were in New York. In the New York days of Brooklyn versus Manhattan, those teams were fighting for a pennant every single year, because that's the way that the golden age of baseball, the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, it was, you had to get through the boys in New York and through the National League. And I mean, the other team that competed, probably the Phillies a little bit, but mainly it was the Giants and the Dodgers, because they were the superior teams in the National League during the original 16, as I call them, age. So, and then they move west. There was a time when it kind of was those two teams you had to go through to get to the promised land. Of course, in the 2010s, in the first half of the 2010s, it was the Giants because of 3 championships in 5 years. Then after the Giants, their tenure started falling off and guys started getting old and they started dwindling a bit. Then that's when the Dodgers took over, and they were the teams. They're now the team to get through. If you're in the National League, you have to get through the Dodgers to get to the World Series. It's all, and in the 90s, an exception, it was always the Braves. So that's the thing about rivalries, and it makes sense why the Dodgers and Giants rivalry is still strong, because they always duke it out for the same thing: a Western Division title and a National League pennant to get to the World Series. And now you look at our perspective. The reason why there's a lot of talk about it's not a rivalry is because we're playing in different leagues. It's American League versus National League. Another reason why it's not a rivalry, because we haven't faced each other in the World Series compared to another American League foe that the Dodgers have. It's the New York Yankees, because they faced the Yankees a lot of times. They did it in Brooklyn in the 50s. We all know that story. The Dodgers finally did it in 55, and that was their only championship, beating the Yankees. Then they move out west. They beat the Yankees 3 times now as the LA Dodgers. It was in, I believe, 63, in 81, and just recently in 2024. 63, I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it was in the 60s. I knew it was around that time. So it makes sense why there is a rivalry between the Yankees and the Dodgers, because postseason. Now, we've never faced each other in the postseason, so that's kind of the takeaway. Now, how do I say, or like, how is this a rivalry? Is it a rivalry on the field? No. It's more of a rivalry with the fans. There's a huge difference, because if it was a rivalry between the teams, how many on-field fights have the teams had? Just the one with Chan Ho Park with the karate kick. That's the only fight we've ever had. Other than that, I have never seen an Angels-Dodgers fight on the field. We've seen it in the stands, but that's it. So there really isn't much tension between the two on the field. But now, with number 17 moving to Los Angeles, there's more tension, because you have 2 generational players going at it now. The difference is we only see each other twice a year, once in their park, once in our park. A lot of argument, but I do think there is a rivalry, but it is more of the fans. But like I said, it's going to spark in the next, I would say, the next 10 years with our 10-year stretch that we have, especially with the young core we have building up.
Yeah, I do. I'm starting to think now that we're definitely trending in an age where the current Angels don't hate the Dodgers. You saw it in Zach Neto, right? And Zach Neto obviously had some tension. He had the whole thing where he was like, oh, yeah, I pissed Shohei off last night. You know what I mean? With the triple play. But I agree that there was quite a bit there where this was a rivalry to the fans. Now, the only validation that Angels fans need to know that this is indeed a rivalry between the fans, a lot of Dodger fans were talking about how, who cares? We're going to be in the playoffs. You guys aren't. You guys know the typical cliche things that Dodger fans tell us. Okay, but how come after every single game they were going on Todd's post-game show and saying, oh, who cares? Who cares? Okay, you don't take time out of your day if you don't care. You know what I mean? So this is indeed a rivalry. I think it's going to be a bigger rivalry. Like you said, the Angels are finally starting to get to a point where they are competitive. We haven't been for a while. Really, it's funny. Ever since whatever team number 17 is on has kind of been on the losing side of the Freeway Series. Right around 2018 is when the Dodgers started to even the record a little bit. Because, for a long while that we were like almost 15 games better than the Dodgers in the Freeway Series. It wasn't even close. And then I think as of last year, they tied it. And now the Angels are back up again in the total Freeway Series. But, see, the games do matter, right? Because all games were sold out at Angel Stadium, right? And it was, honestly, I was pleasantly surprised about Game 1. Game 1 seemed to be the closest in terms of fans. It was like 50-50, and I get it. That's sad because you should never be in a situation where you're outnumbered, but the Angels that does tend to happen to us. What game were you at? Was it Game 2?
I was at Game 3.
Game 3. What was the split on Game 3, if you had to say?
Like you're talking about fan-wise, or?
Yes.
It felt like 70-30, maybe 60, because it made sense why that was the most highly anticipated game of the series, because he took the mound. And you know what I mean by when I say he. I don't have to say his name. I don't have to say his number. He took the mound. And since he was going to pitch,
the mound like he's Jesus, Vince.
Well,
he died on the cross. He died on the mound.
You want me to say Lord Voldemort? I can say that too.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
Yeah. Okay. Lord Voldemort took them out. There you
go. For the record, it's 78 and 73 is now the lifetime record for the Freeway Series. So that's my whole thing, man. These games have been more competitive lately, and this team wants to win these games. You can't tell me they don't want to win these games. man, when Zach Neto, came up clutch really all series. When Bryce Teodosio robbed that home run, you can feel it in the stands. And you can see it on the players' faces that they wanted to win these games. I mean, it's got to suck to be an Angel player and have there be so much blue in the stands, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think that is part of the motivation that that the team had, because you're right, the emotion was there, and there was lots and lots of emotion. And when the home run robbery happened, I couldn't honestly. It was funny. I was sitting in the section. I was sitting in the obstructed section. If you know the stadium, section 135. Everybody knows that section. It's usually the cheapest seats for a reason, because you can't see a lot of plays because of the big wall on right. It blocks your view. So I couldn't see the robbery, unfortunately. So I had to judge it based off the sound. Well, here's the problem. When there's a lot of blue, the sound, our sound, like fades out a bit, so you can't tell. So what's the second thing you look at? Body language. Who's going crazy? Whoever was wearing red was going crazy. So that's how I knew. And once I saw that, I said, oh my God, like something happened. Then they showed the replay. Thankfully, they showed the replay. I saw what happened, and everybody in our section just erupted. The ones behind us, in the shaded area, just everywhere. And what caught my attention was Joe Adell's reaction. In the middle of the play, usually you don't show much emotion in the middle of the play because the play has to be completed first. But he just went off. He did a fist pump, everything, because he knew the value of that play, and it really turned the tide in the game for sure. And you need plays like that, and you need moments like that. And it's going to happen against playoff contending teams. It does happen against the rinky dinks, but at the same time, when it's against your rival, when it's against your crosstown interleague rival, it's a lot more. There's a lot more spark. Heck, you look at out on the East Coast with the Yankees and the Mets. There's a lot of emotion in those games too, because the fans bring the emotion. So what happens is the players feed off the energy, and the players for sure are seeing the crowd, and they know that they're in a hostile environment, whether it's in Anaheim or it's in Los Angeles, and it really motivates them, in my opinion. I mean, it motivates me as a fan too, because like you see all that and you're just like, you just got to be louder than them. And then when the players see that, they feed off of it. And as long as you continue to do that every single Freeway Series from here on out, it's going to be a lot of fun for the next, I'd say, at least 5 years for sure. Hopefully 10, because it'd be twice as nice if it's just as competitive as these last 3 games and just as fun as these last 3 games, let alone the 6 games that we had this season.
Yeah, I'll give the fans who went to the Freeway Series in Anaheim this. Whether they were outnumbered or it was close to a 50-50 split, whatever the case was for those 3 games, each individual game, of course, the Angels fans that were there were very loud and were very vocal. That's the thing. When the Freeway Series happens, I've been to very, very many Freeway Series. In fact, from 2016 to 2019, I went to every single Freeway Series home game. I think I missed one. And I went to a couple in LA too. The Angels fans that are there want to win those games. The Dodger fans that are there want to win those games. Everyone's engaged on every single pitch. It is truly a playoff atmosphere. Nobody can tell you otherwise. That's the thing, man. Dodger fans like pretending like, oh, well, it's so much cheaper to come to Angel Stadium. That's the whole reason they come. No, you guys come because it's, you know what? I'll give that. I will give that to you. It is cheaper. It's more family friendly. Okay, we can't deny those. But the reason why you come is because it's closer to most of their houses, and they don't want to go to Dodger Stadium themselves, right? It takes 3 hours to get in, takes 3 hours to get out. Not only that, you got to sit in the traffic. I was saying 3 hours to get in from like the freeway to the actual stadium. How many times have you been to Dodger Stadium, Vince?
All time, I would say maybe 7 times. But if you're talking Angels Dodgers, I've done it, I think twice, maybe 3 times.
Yeah, I think I've been there like 4 times. Sounds about right. Maybe 5. It's somewhere in that zone, though. The stadium is fine for what it is. I mean, for an old ballpark, I'll tip my cap. As a baseball historian, I love the stadium, right? It truly is a cathedral of baseball. But getting in and getting out sucks. Literally the worst stadium to get in and out of. It is the least accessible place in the world because of the top of a hill. Stolen land, by the way. Got to throw that jab in there. Make sure to remind your local Dodger fan that they stole the land from hardworking Latinos, many of which served in World War II, by the way. So there you go. Have that, Dodger fans. But it's just such a hard stadium to get into. I haven't been there since they've done all the construction. You know what I mean? Where now you can fully walk around the outside or whatever. Like the pavilion out there fully connects. So I haven't been out there since. Maybe at some point I'll tough it out. Maybe I'll sleep in my car that night. It'll probably be easier than having to leave that place. But that's the reason why they don't go to Dodger Stadium. They come to Angel Stadium because you can get in and out pretty damn quick. Depending where you park, you can get out in minutes. You can take the train. So many options. I've never taken the train, but I know that's an option. I know James does it, and he enjoys it. But Vince, this is a rivalry. It's at least from the Angel side, for sure, we know it's a full-fledged rivalry. From the Dodgers side, if it's not a rivalry, show us next year that you don't care. Don't go to the games. How about that? It's the best way to show us. Don't go. What was it like from you that day? So, okay, let's go back to yesterday. You're sitting down. Did you watch the whole game, or did you get there a little late?
I was there from beginning to end. Not like every Dodger fan that comes in the third inning.
Yeah, exactly.
I literally, there's literally my day. I went to work. I got off work. I just changed at work. I had brought all my clothes, brought my hat, brought my boots, everything, the whole shebang. Went straight to the stadium because I'm literally down the street from my work. There's no point in me going home. I'd rather just go straight to the stadium, park my car, walk in.
Okay.
No. I drove to the stadium and then parked my car, and then I walked to the tailgate. I just wanted to see what was going on, which also kind of surprised me. I wanted to mention that. I saw a lot of tailgaters and all the setup, the tents and everything. And I hate to say this, but the first thing that came to my mind was, do y'all work? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, or what kind of job do you have that you don't have to work and you still go to this game or able to set up and everything?
Yeah, you took a Wednesday off.
Yeah, literally. There was some DJ booths. There was the mariachi bands. There was everything. And I was like, it's on a Wednesday? I can understand a Saturday doing all this, but on a Wednesday? So it surprised me, but the vibe was there. So it was calm, but then again, it's calm before the storm. Not everybody's got their alcohol yet. It's just everyone's just settling in. So, I mean, I ran into a couple friends and talked baseball and whatnot. And then we got inside, grabbed a bite to eat, caught a couple drinks, and then I made sure to be in my seat by first pitch. And I was. Right when I sat down, they ran on the field and got the ball rolling. So, yeah, I was there from beginning to end. And at the beginning, I mean, it was just when number 17 hit that triple, I had my doubts, not going to lie, but it's that first inning down 3-0. It's like, man, like, is this really going to happen? And I've had my fair share of bad luck being in attendance. I mean, there was a time where I didn't see a game in like 2 consecutive seasons, basically. And then the streak kept going into this year, and then it finally got broken back in June. And I'm thinking, like, dude, don't do it again. Don't do it again. And being down 3-0, it's like, just show some fight. And then when we scored 2 in that second, there was some life. It's like, okay, you guys, you have the fight. But, of course, the same. There's a lot of baseball left. So I put that in consideration. Still had a little bit of doubts because it's really tough being the Dodgers when they take an early lead. But when you have a taxed bullpen like they have, your confidence boosts up just a bit. Not a lot, but just a bit. And Hendricks, I mean, he was working his way back. But once number 56 came out, Ryan Zefferjan, the name I don't like to say, but we have to mention him almost like once every 2 weeks for some reason. Once he came out, I said, please be the Zefferjan from Monday, basically. I think that was the last time he pitched. And then he walks a few guys, and then it's like, here we go again. And then before you knew it, it was like we're down. Well, I think we're down 5-2 at one point, and I'm thinking, like, I mean, I'm still doubting a bit. But then Big Papa comes up, and he literally showed the Angel fans, like, hey, I want to beat this team. And who doesn't? And he just has to have the spark. We always talk about the spark every week. That's the guy. And once he hit that 2-run double, all right, still got a shot. A home run robbery happens. I was nervous because that was Paez hit it good. And I know, and we all know that short wall and right. All you have to do is just hit the scoreboard and it's a home run. You can hit a line drive and it's a home run. That's all you have to do. And then Bryce, you're him. Let's put it that way. He's him. And then I just waiting. And then the 8th inning comes up. We get bases loaded. I have never prayed so hard at a baseball game. That was the time I did it. It was Logan O'Hoppe, and Logan has had his moments. They've been there, but he had been struggling in the past few days, past few weeks, whatnot. And I just kept saying to myself, like, just under my breath, just, Logan, you're due. You're due. This is your time. You're due. And 2 strikes, like I say every time, no need to get sexy. Guess what? He didn't, because he took 102 right back up the box. That's all you got to do with 2 strikes. He could have easily swung for the fences, but he figured, you know what? I got bases loaded. I just need to put the ball in play because that runner from second is going to score regardless.
He sent it right where it came from, which is what they tell you in Little League.
Yep. And
right back.
Yep, he did exactly that. And then Kenley comes out. I said, this is poetic justice right here with Kenley Jansen coming out. And when Mookie hit the first one, I got a little worried because Mookie can make solid contact, and he's done it before against Kenley. He did it in Game 2 of the LA series when we were in Los Angeles, that Saturday game when we won 11-9. I thought he crushed that one. And then there's Matthew Lugo, who is just Speedy Gonzalez out there. And then Freddie comes up. I'm hearing Freddie from anybody wearing blue. I said, oh, boy, don't do this to us. And then he hits a shot that was perfect down the line. But guess what? Noah Shonowell was playing a lefty, and he fielded perfectly. Will Smith comes up. Could have easily tied it because he's Will Smith, and he did it earlier in the game. But we had a center fielder who's got some wheels again. Another poetic justice right there. A line out to center twice in all 6 games of the series, and I just went ecstatic. If you saw my Instagram, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think I'm trending right now. The views are up, the likes are up, the comments are up. If you haven't seen it, go do it right now. It is just is emotional, and I get emotional and I take it personal every Dodger game I attend, every Angel Dodger game, because I have family that are Dodger fans. They grew up in Pico Rivera, then also grew up in a family that grew up in LA. So whenever something happens, I let them know, and I take every single game personally. And yes, and Wednesday night's game for sure, I let every single emotion out. I lost my voice a little bit, but it was worth it to the end. I got 6 hours of sleep, and I still had to go to work the next day. But guess what? I showed up to work. That's what's more important.
Came out on Cloud 9, and the Dodger fans had to go to work. Mario dead noise. That's what happens. That's what it was to be a Dodger fan. Look, I'll say this: if I'm the Dodgers, I'm definitely getting a little worried. Not only did you lose to essentially a AAA lineup, but you are no longer in first place. Technically, I think if they were to lose another game, and I forgot who's right below them, they're bumped out of the playoffs of the season. All right.
San Fran.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I mean, San Fran, I think, is like 1 or 2 games back of a wild card spot. They are not that far behind. You know what I mean? They are breathing down their necks. So, and I know San Fran's on a skid. Don't get me wrong. But so are the Dodgers. I mean, they've only won like I think like 10-ish games or something like that since like July 4th. Did I read that correctly? I'm not a Dodger fan. Don't come at me for those numbers being wrong. But I know they are struggling tremendously since the early part of July. Their bullpen is absolutely depleted. They've got nobody in that bullpen. They're about to sign Vince and send him up there. Their starting rotation is starting to get healthier, but that's not looking too hot for them either. Their lineup isn't producing much at all. I mean, Mookie Betts, another guy that's heating up a little bit the last 2 weeks, but there was a long while where people were freaking out. He was batting like the mid-doza line.
He's still batting 245 right now.
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't he lower in the 200s?
Yeah, he was dropping a bit. Yeah, but he's gone through an injury-prone season too, so that comes into effect a little bit. And then you got Freddie, who he had his injuries too, but he's still pretty good, and that's why he's still hitting 300. And then of course number 17. Well, I mean, he's a different breed.
Yeah, and Todd alluded to it in his post-game show. The Dodger fans need to just kind of enjoy it while you can, because, I mean, the Gen's not going to be good for long. Father Time is undefeated. I think Mookie and Freddie are both 32 or so, if memory serves correctly. So, they're slowly going to start hitting into their mid-30s. And once you hit your mid-30s, for anyone who's there and has been there, you slow down a lot physically. I mean, I just turned 30. I mean, you and I are the same age. And there's some things that don't work like they used to. It actually takes me a little bit of time to get up now. If I kneel down to do something, and I do pest control, so you kneel down to get a bait station or something. You kneel down to grab something because something fell under the table. It takes you a little while now to get back up. You know what I mean? So that just are things that happens for normal people. These guys are athletes. They take care of their body. So I understand that. But you can't deny the fact that their window is going to close probably, I'd say, the next 3 to 4 years. Once those guys are all 35, 36, 37, they're still going to be locked under contract till they're 40. So I don't know how much winning they're going to do. And then, they don't even have that relief like we do. We have number 6 for this year and next year. And then we can rid ourselves of that contract. If you're the team up to 5, those evil Smurfs, you can't even say that, because once number 17's gone, that's when the real money's due. You got to pay him $68 million a year for the next 10 years. And say what you want, because I think technically it doesn't count against their salary cap, right? It won't count towards that, but that's still a lot of money. $68 million for a guy that's not on your team anymore. Man, you better hope you won 5 rings, because there is no way that's worth it. I mean, is he the most talented baseball player on the planet? I think when we're all unbiased, yes. We're still going to say yes. For the time being, he is. Yes, we know that. Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that he's not going to be good forever. He's not going to be amazing forever, man. If he is 37 and still producing at a decent level, I will eat crow. But for all those Dodger fans who continue to tell us well, it's not a rivalry. You guys care like it's a rivalry. You guys show up like it's a rivalry. You invade the stadium. You talk trash on social media. So you invade our socials like it's a rivalry. You can't continue to little brother us when you keep looking to see what little brother's doing. There is going to be a time where the tides turn, because that happens. May I remind you guys, in the early 2000s, who was running LA? Who was running Anaheim? It was us. Certainly wasn't the Dodgers. I mean, when Nomar Garcia-Parra was there? Great. Okay. We had Andre Ethier. Great. You know what I mean? They weren't making the playoffs routinely. Since 2013, 2014, that's kind of when their quote-unquote dynasty has started. And they're very quick to remind us Angels fans, well, we make the playoffs every single year. You've won 1 championship and a ring pop during all that stretch of time.
100%, yeah, and they're easy to just jump on that ship. And you know what? I don't even think it's little brother, big brother. I honestly, it's more like either step or half brother, because remember, the Dodgers came from Brooklyn. We're originally rooted in California. The Padres are originally rooted in California. Those are the only people. History lesson here. there's two teams. Yeah, there's five California teams, but what people forget, two of them are rooted here. So it is the Angels and the Padres. The other three were moved.
Philadelphia, New York.
Yeah, because the Athletics originally were in Philly, Kansas City, and then they came to Oakland, now Sacramento, and now they're going to leave. And then the Giants and the Dodgers, of course, from New York. So it's just funny how everything that we go through with all the trash talking, and that's what also sparks a rivalry is the trash talking. And it's like I said, it's all about the fans. Like it's mainly between us. And you're right about the whole. I want to go back to the whole, like when you said why Dodger fans do come to Angel Stadium. Yeah, it is cheaper, number one, and it is easy because there's a lot of people like that live in Whittier. They don't want to go all the way to LA, to downtown LA or past downtown LA. They'd rather just say, oh yeah, I'll just go to Angel Stadium and it's cheaper, and everything's a lot easier and whatnot. But the only difference is our games that they play are during the week. So we haven't got any weekend games. I mean, weekend games would be nice. I think it would definitely bring more of a crowd. I don't know why MLB does that to us. Like they give us when we play in LA, they give us the weekend there, but when we're at home, we have to go during the week. I think the reason why MLB does it is to avoid the whole like traffic, LA traffic, because there is more LA traffic and Orange County traffic on the weekends because of all the events that have going on. You got to remember, we also have SoFi. There's people who go to concerts or football games at SoFi, so that comes into effect. Then if it's basketball season, the Lakers and the Clippers, that comes into effect. If it's hockey season, the Ducks and the Kings, that comes into effect. So maybe that's why, but which is kind of dumb because we play in the summer. How does it affect us? Are we getting what? Beach traffic? Like, I don't understand it. So MLB
Disneyland traffic.
Thank you. Disneyland traffic. So MLB, I mean, bring back the weekends like that because that's fun in itself. And also, I really hated the whole 2-game series things. I hated it. When we went through that span of having 2 games, or four total games, 2 in the NL, 2 in the American League. No, bring back the 3 because it's a lot more fun. Because if you can split the series, you can do a 3-game sweep or just whatever, like, or not split, but like you can win a series. It's either sweep or take 2-1. That's more fun because there's more bragging rights involved there. Whereas if you have a 2-game series, it's like you either win 2 games or you split, and it's like it's a draw basically. So I'm not a big fan of it. But even 6 games, you still have those draws too, because you can go 3-3. But I think I have a feeling that from here on out, it is going to be 6-game series for interleague rivals because it's more fun. And also with the first year we had this year was a rivalry weekend. I have a sense that it is going to be the same weekend. It's like I think it's like the 3rd weekend in May or something like that, and it's going to alternate every year. Like if you were in the National League Park this year, you're going to be in the American League Park next year. I have a sense that it's going to happen. I hope, fingers crossed, it'd be a lot nice. And I do love the whole rivalry weekend thing because that brings a lot of viewership and just anything. It brings a lot of viewership. It brings a lot of sales, whatever. So MLB. There are some things that I don't agree with on them, but that's one that they did right for sure, and they just gotta continue it. And I love it. Like I just love the tension that we have. I mean, sometimes too much tension kind of gets in the way a little bit, if you know what I'm talking about. But I've learned in the past, like, look, if you win a game, if you lose a game, just keep your mouth shut and walk to your car. That's it. That's the easiest thing you can do because the last thing we want is to have tension in the parking lot. We don't want the fights. And I mean, they boost up the police force for sure. In fact, I remember going to the game, we had mounted police. That tells you something. And it's unfortunate that we have to deal with it. But that's the thing of a rivalry. Like, we expect that. And some people think, oh, it only happens in LA. No, it happens in New York, too. It gets crazy in New York. It gets crazy in in Chicago too. It's just as crazy. I mean, not as bad as us, but there is tension between White Sox and Cubs fans. Maybe it's the friendliest interleague rival, but New York, it's a whole different story for sure. And we just happen to be part of it too.
Yeah, I loved when they did the Rivalry Weekend earlier this year. I think they should definitely do it like twice a year properly, where they like, hey, this is Rivalry Weekend. I mean, because almost every single team has a geographic rival, and you can create it, right? I mean, ever since the Freeway Series started, when interleague play became a thing, the fans have always taken to it well, right? The fans have always taken to it like, okay, hey. And I feel like when it first became a thing, Dodger fans did used to pretend they cared. And then, ever since they kind of started to have some success, these last 15 years, that's when they've turned into we don't care. This is your World Series. But, like I said, we can discredit that. It's proven that they do care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't show up, right? They do the same thing with like the Padres. They try to treat Padre fans like little brothers, and same thing. Like, oh, you guys are so cute over there. But you guys are worried, right? Because you guys are in second place, and you better be worried. You can't pretend you're not, because that just means you don't care. That just means you're not a fan, right? I mean, that's why we're worried about it. Vince and I, and you guys listening, I wouldn't imagine you're listening to this if you're not in the same boat we are. We bleed Angels red. Like, my mood depends on if the Angels won. My mood depends on how they're doing. They can make fun of me all they want. Hey, this is your World Series. Great. It is. It is my World Series. I don't care. Great. Okay. My team sucks right now. I think we're heading out of that. You know what, Vince? Right now, the Angels are still playing meaningful baseball games. They're within 5 of a wild card spot. Is it going to happen? I'm still leaning towards no. Am I cheering for it? I mean, at this point, we might as well cheer for it, because they didn't sell at the deadline like they should have. So now, yeah, great. I mean, if we're going to cheer for our delusional chances, our 1% chance of making the playoffs right now, great, cool, so be it. I don't even want that, but I do want there to be 2 weeks left in the season. The Angels aren't mathematically eliminated, and Logan O'Hoppe is sitting there in a pressure cooker situation like he was yesterday, and he had to come through. Or Zach Neto hitting a big double to clear the bases like he did against Shohei, or, to bring the Angels within 1. That's what I want these young guys to experience, because next year, if we just miss the playoffs this year, that means that next year we can fast forward a year and say, you know what, 2026 is the year. We are running it. And you know what? For once, you can actually take that check that Ron Washington mentioned last year and deposit it to the bank, because this team's a playoff team. And if you keep playing those meaningful games, you start building that culture. And Vince, we can both agree, the culture's coming. The culture's here. These guys want to play here. Vince, these guys want to win here. Zach Neto wants to win in red. Logan O'Hoppe, Joe Adell, hell, Bryce Teodosio. Those guys want to be here. Nolan Shanuel wants to be here. The fans are getting excited. We want to be here because we know what's around the corner. You know what? It might not happen this year, but we can taste it. We're getting close. We're finally seeing competitive baseball. And it's nice because the Angels have beaten really good teams this year. That's encouraging. It's crazy. We're within 5 right now of a playoff spot. I think I saw that the Angels and Diamondbacks right now are tied for the most. Is it blown saves?
Yes, or blown wins by the bullpen. It's like 18 or something.
Yes, yeah. And we're tied with Arizona. So within 5 of a playoff spot, blown roughly 20 games. So think about that. Because, I called Todd today. Sometimes, we talk baseball off air. We'll talk for a little bit. And I had told Todd, it's crazy because now that we're within 5, we beat good teams like the Dodgers. We won the series against the Yankees. You start to think about that series that we lost against the White Sox. You think about the Tiger series where we should have won at least 2. The Padres series where we shot ourselves in the foot. We had a chance to sweep the Padres. We ended up only winning 1 of those games. You think about those games. You think about the teams that you definitely should have swept. And you think, Vince, if even half of those games have broken our way, we would probably be in the second wild card spot with the situation to potentially control our destiny instead of hoping to get into the third wild card spot. So it's just so funny how baseball works. It's a game of inches. If some of those things break your way, half of those wins break your way. We're talking about the Angels, in a playoff spot right now. We're getting calls and emails right now about, hey, do you want to place a down payment on these playoff tickets? And you're not laughing because we're in a playoff spot in that alternate universe. This is good for young teams. Like I said, it was really good to see the team so fired up this Freeway Series. I hope that they could keep it going in that little tiny minor league ballpark in Sacramento.
Yeah, and I think that is just what we needed. It's like there's two things you need as a fan: spark and hope. Okay, just give us some hope, basically, and show that you care, show that it's meaningful, show that you want to win, regardless of what position you're in the standings. You could be, in fourth place, you could be in third place, wherever, but just show something that you care. And you talk about the meaningful games. I mean, there's two sides to it when it comes to the Perry's comments about meaningful games. Number one, what the hell is he talking about? And number two, he might have a point. Because I think when Perry said meaningful games, he was talking about the LA series. I guarantee he was talking about that. And he was talking about the Seattle series and when we play the Trastros, because those are meaningful games. He knows who the playoff teams are. He knows we have to play Houston again. He knows we have to play Seattle again. He knows those teams are fighting for a playoff spot, let alone a division, especially Seattle. Because Seattle went all in at the deadline for sure because they needed the bats. They got the bats. They already have the pitching. They just needed the bats. Seattle's scary right now. If we can compete against Seattle and shut them down, we could shock the world. It's possible. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it's possible. Now, you got Houston. Well, Houston is Houston. For some reason, are we ever going to beat them? Eventually. The only way it's going to happen is Altuve and Correa are gone because that's the core of the teams for now. They have the young guys coming up and they develop pretty well. But guess what? The 10-year run is due in Houston. Who knows? Maybe next year they start to dwindle. Maybe in 2 years they start to dwindle. Maybe this year this is the last chance for them to complete their dynasty in a way. And then there's a lot of hope right there. Texas, you never know. They're kind of mediocre at this point. Next year they could compete.
They're not doing too hot right now.
Exactly. They're not doing too hot. They're mediocre just like us. But yeah, the meaningful games are pretty key. We also have Cincinnati coming up, and then we also have Chicago, the Cubs coming in too. And the Cubs are really, really pushing for a playoff because they gave up a lot of prospects to get into the playoffs, not just to win it all, but just to get in because they got a team just up north, up north above them that is killing the National League right now and probably killing Major League Baseball. And they are the team that's a scary team to look at. And it's not the team in blue at this point. It's a team in Milwaukee, and there's also a team down in San Diego that you have to watch out for at this point. And you got to throw in the mix too. Philadelphia is also a scary team to look at in the National League and in Major League Baseball. American League, so far it's Seattle, and also I would say, maybe the Rays too could be in the mix as well because the Rays have kind of had their moments as well. And then in the Central, the Central is up for grabs with it. Well, actually Detroit. But Detroit's having their skid right now. But I think once their team starts getting fully healthy, you got to watch out for the Tigers come September. So August, this is a test right here. We talk about it all the time. The weather's getting warmer. The humidity's going up. Who is ready to basically go in and say, September, watch out? And I already named all the teams.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the standings right now, which I haven't done in a little while because, as an Angels fan, there's no reason to, right? It's crazy how much separation has started. it's crazy to see what happened to Toronto. Talk about one of the hotter teams in baseball. That was the Yankees for a long time. Were running the AL East, and man, they have fallen. How the mighty have fallen. They're now 6.5 out of that division race, which is crazy. I mean, Baltimore is always going to baffle me this year. How bad of a season they're having, considering they still have a lot of that youth. Their window is going to be closing pretty quick too if they can't start re-signing some of those guys and figure out what they're going to do there. You mentioned the Tigers, and they're definitely starting to have a little bit of separation from the Guardians. Same with the Eagles. Really, the only closed division race right now is the AL West, which I do think will be a 2-horse race between Seattle and Houston. I've said already, I think you've agreed with me, I think Seattle or Detroit is going to be the team to beat in the American League. I hate to say it, but I could definitely see either Seattle or Detroit making the World Series right now. It's too early to say, but those are two really good teams. It's just the AL West and the NL West. Really, that's a closed divisional race. Everything else is over. But
we're the Wild West for a reason.
It's fair. That
no,
is fair.
literally, it's fair. It's that we are. I believe the West, AL, NL, we are the top 2 divisions in MLB because number one, it's wild. All right, we butt heads every single week. We're just pounding on each other. It's going to be a one, or it's always a 2 or a 3-man race, 3-horse race. Actually, I had to bring the country involved. But yeah, it's usually a 2 or 3-horse race in those respective divisions, and it's happening right now. Like you said, it's 2 in the AL, and it's, I believe, right now 3 in the NL. Yeah, the Giants are struggling, but they might be a little bit sneaky once like their main guys get healthy. Yeah, they got rid of Yastrzemski, but it was time for him to go. His time in San Fran was done. He had to need new change of scenery. Kansas City, I think, is a good fit for him. But it's definitely going to be fun, like you said.
So for the Dodgers, they have the second of the third NL wildcard spot right now, and then you have the New York Mets with the third. You have Cincinnati half a game behind them. You then have the Cardinals 3.5 behind, and then you have the Giants and the Diamondbacks exactly where we are, 5 out. So who knows, man? Stranger things have happened. I mean, we'll see what happens with the Angels. We have a little bit of time to talk about it. We'll check in next week. Obviously we called an audible on this week's hot take. Omaha called an audible. For all of you football fans, but we had to talk about the Freeway Series. It was only fitting. Biggest series of our season. Hey, Vince, we'll take our ring pop. Hey, where's the parade? All the fans have said, hey, don't tempt me. We'll throw a Freeway Series parade all day long. And one last thing I'll say to the Dodgers fans.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
Oh no. How terrible. Yeah, there you go. You guys lost. We forgot to thank our sponsors at the top, so let's do that real quick. Vince, you want to tell them about 714 Tickets and the other wonderful sponsors?
Yeah, 714 Tickets. You can use the code HITI at checkout. You get 10% off anytime. And I say that with emphasis. It's not a one-time thing. You can use it as many times. You can use it for concerts. You can use it for football. You can use it for basketball. You can use it for baseball. Oh, yeah. Boxing, UFC, wrestling. I know Fernando loves wrestling. And I got to say, 714 Tickets, thank you, because I got a killer deal for that Wednesday Dodger game against the Angels. And yeah, that 10% really came in clutch. Also, Brewheim Brewery mentioned Halos in the infield and get some drink specials. It is a great spot to socialize. There's a lot of TVs, and it's just fun to interact with a lot of Angel fans. And there are some good trucks that come into outside food trucks and that serve great quality food. OC Dugout, keep an eye out for some autograph signings, and I believe there's an autograph signing coming soon. It is a double feature. It is involving Logan O'Hoppe. Yes, he is returning, but his battery mate, Ben Joyce, is also going to be part of the autograph. So you will get 2 autographs opportunities to meet them. That will be coming in the near future. And if you get a chance, go meet the 2. I have met Logan O'Hoppe, great guy. I never got the chance to meet Ben Joyce, but if you do, please do. And if you get the opportunity, let me know how the experience is. And Fernando, tell us about Max Market Pros.
Well, if you have a small business or any kind of business, but let's just say it's something like an Etsy shop, right? Well, I have an Etsy shop. Why do I need help? Well, you know what? They're Google certified. They can help get your listing to the top. Let's just say that you like to knit sweaters for Labubus. That's what Vince does. Just kidding. He doesn't do that. But let's just say that's what you do. You like to crochet little sweaters for Labubus. Maybe you make handmade crocheted AirPod cases, whatever the niche, weird little thing might be. Well, Max Market Pros can help your name hop to the top of Google because we all know that that's important. Speaking of Max Market Pros. Mention Halos in the infield. Let them know we sent you so you can get your Labubu business firing on all cylinders or whatever you might be selling. Once again, that's Max Market Pros. But hey, I've gotten to meet Logan O'Hoppe. He signed one of the balls up there in that case. Nice guy. I haven't met Ben Joyce in person, but he's been on the podcast twice. Make sure you check out those episodes. We have a lot of cool stuff. We have so much interviews and stuff that are backlogged. So seriously, if you guys have any desire for content, I promise it exists. Follow us while you're at it at Angels or at Halos in the infield, and then at Angels_Cowboy for Vince. His post did go mega viral yesterday, so make sure you check that out. And our end, we're always posting question of the day, things like that. We post the hot takes. We have the Hitty Sports Center things. And, of course, Todd has the best post-game show in all the land that's by the fans, for the fans, the only show that reads your comment, and the only show that takes your phone calls. So I know the last couple of weeks it's been kind of busy for him, so he hasn't been able to do the phone calls. But hound him on it, and he will get you guys on. He always does. But, Vince, we are riding a high. We'll see how long this wave can be ridden. Hopefully it heads on over to Sacramento and bounces back for the homestand. And then when the boys get started on the Texas two-step, I'm going to be here in Arlington. My goal is to be to all three games, the 25th, 26th, 27th. So if you are going to be in town, let me know because the Lone Star Halo is planning on being there at Globe Life Field to cheer for my Angels. And I don't think my girlfriend's going to be able to make it to those games because I know she has training or whatever that week. So she's going to have some late nights. So there's a very good chance that the Lone Star Halo might go by himself. But you know what? Sometimes you do what you got to do. You got to support your team. So if you guys are going to be there, you guys let me know. But on behalf of all of us here at Halos in the Infield, man, we hope that you guys enjoyed the Freeway Series. We hope that you guys are enjoying this season so far. It's been a pretty fun season. All things considered, there's been some lows for sure, but we are happy that you're here riding the high with us while we can. Follow Vince, follow me, follow us, and we will see you guys next time. Y'all be good now. You hear?
From Anaheim down to the Texas plains, hot takes fly.